Hello, 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 hello. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. I hope you're doing well wherever you are, wherever you're doing. Okay, if you're in Asia, Antarctica, Kenya, Africa, Australia, North America, South America, whatever. Welcome. Karibu sana, karibu sana, karibu sana. This is Kenya Revolutionary. As you can see, we are going to tackle two topics today. Mada leo, as they say. The first one is 7 main steps William Ruto took to have total power in Kenya. And the second one is Raila seeking help from the BND. For those who don't know who the BND is or are, BND is the Federal Intelligence Service. It's the equivalent of the CIA of Germany. Well, it seems like there's a controversy brewing right now. There's a brouhaha about his credentials, his academic credentials. So it was very interesting that he is in Germany today. I don't know if he's back yet, but he's still in Germany from last time I saw. And he was he was in some conference in Alliance Center, the home of the home of the Bayern Munich, but whatever the case is. But he was in Germany and he was giving a speech. Actually, let me just play a little bit of that speech so you can actually see. I don't know what the whole deal was in Germany, but let's take a look at what he was up to in Germany. Maybe he was doing something that we'd like to know. Now, there are some people who are saying that the reason for him to going to Germany, remember, there are people who are questioning if he's actually have the credentials, the academic credentials to qualify for the AU. And, Migona posted that, this guy never really actually got a degree from Germany as he claims to be. So, right after that, Raila happens to be in Germany. And, I've been telling you that the West, they want Raila Odinga to have this chair. And his buddy, Chris Coons, as I told you, this guy is his handler, basically. CIA guy. Raila Odinga has been a CIA asset for a long time. I know most of you don't want to believe this. Trust me, this guy is. Look deep into it. But anyway, let's see what he was doing in Germany. He was giving a speech somewhere there. And let's see what that speech was all about. Oh, shoot, I forgot the name of that. Shoot, but anyway, sorry. Give me a minute, ladies and gentlemen, brother. I'm so like I came from somewhere. I was working actually, basically, and I didn't get enough time to get my stuff together. But I'll get it together. Okay. While I do this, ladies and gentlemen, please like, share, and if you have subscribe, because we're about to get into this issue and look deeply into what's going on with these folks. Okay, so ingia hapo tuangalie hii maneno. There's so much happening. There is so much happening, as you know. What's his name? I'm trying to get his face right here. Karibu sana. Okay, let's see. Okay, I got his name. All right, let's find his name right here real quick so I can show you what I mean. Okay, good. I want to play you a short clip by Mr. Gabriel Guda, one of the head Azimio bloggers. Actually, he blogged and gave us a kind of a snippet of what Raila Odinga was saying while he was in Germany. I don't know where that picture is. Here of his summit. Okay, there you go. All right, so let me play you that clip so we can actually get to some sense of an understanding of what Raila Odinga is doing in Germany. Please like the video, share, comment, and all the good stuff. Let's get to it. Gabriel Aguda, there you go. All right, so this is what he was saying. I have no idea what's all right. That's it. It's a 1-minute video.
Executive is charged with the judiciary legislature, and the executive. The executive of the power, because the executive is charged with the responsibility of collecting revenue. The revenue goes to the executive, and the executive then distributes this revenue to the legislature and to the judiciary. And this sometimes the executive can use to try to claw back some of the powers which have been constitutional given to the legislature and also to the judiciary. We have had practical examples in Kenya, where, for example, the executive uh, wants to introduce certain amendments, and the judiciary is saying that these amendments are unconstitutional and therefore null and void. Now the executive is now accusing the judiciary of corruption and trying to discipline some of the judges.
Okay, so he was somewhere in Germany. Now there are people who are saying, they're claiming that, Raila, he lived in Germany for some time. Was it West or East Germany? One of the about Germany's back then, when Germany was still split between East and West. Okay, so some people are saying he's actually there to, afanye ile kitu ndio he can appear to have those certificates that they need, because apparently Raila Odinga only got like a diploma in welding. Diploma is like a two-year thing. It's not a one-year thing. But let's dig in. What's his name? Miguna was having his foot on Raila's neck. He's not letting go. So let's find out what Miguna was saying about this, because that seems to be a topic right now. Even it was in one of the magazeti where they were telling us this guy, he might be disqualified. He might not make it because of his qualification. So let's go to Miguna's page, because there are some people who are asking, they're telling Miguna, hey, listen, stop, wacha kuspread propaganda. Raila is an engineer. What are you talking about? Okay. And Miguna, he had some response for them. Okay. Here's Miguna's page, and we are going to read it together. So I don't want you to think that I'm actually making stuff up. I want you to look it up by yourself so we can look at it, because I think this issue is going to come up again, and we're going to scrutinize if Raila Odinga actually has the certificates. A master's degree that is required, it's a requirement for you to qualify to be the AU chairperson. Okay, here is Miguna. First of all, let's read his first tweet that he wrote 20 minutes ago. He says, I know UDA wants Conman Raila Odinga to go away so that they have a walkover in 2027. And his critics, like me, don't want him to mess up Luo Nyanza politics in 2027. Fair enough. But, this is what he say, but, okay, can you produce Conman Raila Odinga's KAPE? Okay, this is like similar to KCPE back in the day, okay, before it became KCPE, and now it is whatever it is, okay? So can you actually produce that as a proof that he actually graduated from class 8 or, high school or whatever the case is, okay? Now he says, but can you produce Conman Raila Odinga's KAPE? No, he says. That's impossible. Let me make it easier. Produce 2 classmates. One he sat KAPE with in Kenya, and another he purportedly attended university with. That should be easy, isn't it? Okay, so basically, he's asking anyone, he's challenging anyone if they know Raila's classmates to come up and prove that he actually finished class 8 or whatever the case is. I know this sounds like, I know some people like the staunch Azimio folks are like, you know what, this is kind of disrespecting, unajaribu kuenjoy baba. But hey, it is what it is. We have to look at this if we are going to be serious about this, we have to just check on this stuff because you never know. Okay. Because, and I'll get to that topic later. I'll explain to you why some people are above the law in Kenya, which, if you're going to have true liberation, that has to stop. Everyone has to be actually scrutinized fairly like anybody else. Okay. All right. So 4 hours ago, he wrote, Conman Raila Odinga dropped out of grade 6. Prove me wrong. Stop yelling and vomiting. AU must not be a dumping ground for failures and conmen. Okay. Then 5 hours ago, he wrote, if you support Conman Raila Odinga for AU Commission Chairman, publish his primary school and secondary school certificates. Don't abuse me for saying he is not qualified. Just prove me wrong. Malicious lies and ad hominem won't stop me. I speak the truth without fear. Cheers. Okay. 17 hours ago, he was responding to Kadenge. Kadenge 256 was writing, Raila received a scholarship that in 1965 sent him to the Tenische Hatschul Technical College of Magdeburg, now part of the Otto von Guericke University Magdeburg in the GDR. In 1970, he graduated with a diploma, roughly equivalent of a master's degree in mechanical engineering and welding. While studying in East Berlin during the Cold War, as a Kenyan, he was able to visit West Berlin through the checkpoint Charlie. When visiting West Berlin, he used to smuggle goods not available in East Berlin to bring them to his friends in East Berlin. And Miguna wrote as a reply, he wrote, this is a huge lie. Only cows believe. Conman Raila Odinga never completed primary school or secondary school in Kenya and East Germany. Before you peddle such flagrant lies, publish his primary and secondary school certificates. Secondly, Raila had traveled to East Germany using a Tanzanian passport. So he couldn't have traveled to West Germany as a Kenyan. He was, for all practical purposes, a Tanzanian. For the duration of the time he lived, not studied, in quotation, in East Germany. These are well-documented facts. Engineer Olali, who traveled with Raila Odinga to Tanzania, Egypt, and then to East Germany, is still alive in Asembo Siaya County. Whoa. So Miguna is actually producing the receipts. He's like, hey, listen, if you say that this man actually went to school, prove it, because I know his classmates, not classmate, the person who traveled to him to Tanzania and then to East Germany back then. So show me the receipts, prove. Show me the KAP certificates that Raila actually graduated from primary and secondary school. Prove it. That is what Raila Odinga is. That's what Miguna is saying. Okay, he is actually not letting it go with Raila Odinga. He is on his neck, as they say. Okay, so basically, now there are people who are actually proposal is okay. So this is another thing. What was it? Yeah. Okay. So what I was saying is Raila's travel to Germany might be him seeking help from the BND. As I mentioned, for those who don't know who BND is or are, BND are the equivalent of the like the CIA. They're also called as Federal Intelligence Service of Germany. Okay, so they might help him to actually get some kind of certificate to show that he is, he got some qualification or went to school there. But last time, three people actually, Meguna, Dr. Amkeni, and another guy, I keep on forgetting his name. They went to that school that Raila purported to have graduated from, and they did not find his name in the year that they said he graduated in. His name was nowhere there as a graduate, okay? So that is yet to be proven. And I'm not saying this, we're not being facetious here. We're not trying to put anybody down. We're not trying to make fun of Raila Odinga. But we would like to see the certificates that he possesses. And can we verify them if indeed he actually did go to school there? Now, let's move on to the 7 main steps that William Ruto took to have total power in Kenya. Seven steps that William Ruto took to have total power in Kenya. I will get to that in a second, okay? I will show you, ladies and gentlemen. 7 things that William Ruto did to actually take power in Kenya. I will get to that. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, friends, and comrades, I'll show you in a minute. I am okay. There's something I want to show you here that people just forgot about. People forgot about. All right, let's play this clip real quick. I will show you. Ladies and gentlemen, are we ready? All right, let's play this clip right here, and we shall continue. I will show you 7 main steps that Ruto took to get absolute power. Let's get to it.
Doing a secret deal after the countrywide protest following the 2022 general election has come out in the open, with Raila Odinga now eyeing the African Union Commission chairperson position. The latest push by President William Ruto to have Raila Odinga clinch the African Union top job has brought to the fore closely guarded secrets that the two leaders had come to a ceasefire agreement in a meeting presided over by former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo in Mombasa last year. Our reporter, Grace Nganga, has more on this.
In politics, they say there are no permanent enemies, just interests, a notion that perhaps best explains Raila's nomination to the AU by President William Ruto. For politicians who've had a love-hate relation, this move comes as a surprise to many, but a masterstroke in the political game of chess. For a man who has seemingly been losing touch with his support base owing to the high cost of living and unfriendly government policies, President Ruto has moved to tame his biggest critic, Raila Odinga, who has been riding on government's misdoings and galvanizing his support base.
We will exercise the sovereignty directly. Maandamano, picketing, boycott, na kadhalika.
My friends, sahau mambo ya handshake.
Nasema hapa leo, sitaki mambo ya handshake.
And you must tell my good friend Raila Odinga, you cannot, enough is enough. You cannot continue to blackmail the country.
And although it came as a surprise to many for the Kenya Kwanza government, led by Ruto, to support Odinga's nomination to the AU, KTN News understands that this was a well-orchestrated plan. A source from within Kenya Kwanza who sought anonymity said there was a secret handshake deal that happened almost 4 months ago when former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo met the two in Mombasa last year. Obasanjo, during a press briefing at Raila's residence last Thursday, revealed that he played a crucial role in mediating between Ruto and Raila, which led to the ceasing of the weekly protest organized by the opposition.
Went to Mombasa, and the outcome of that exercise was 5 each from the two parties to form a committee. And I understand that committee have done impressive work. Of course, in my part of the world, we believe that when you put yam in fire, you must be able to turn it over so that it's not overburnt.
The source said prior to the formation of the National Dialogue Committee, a deal was struck that will eject Odinga from local politics and Kalonzo take over the opposition. The NADCO report recommends the establishment of the office of the leader of the official opposition. In meetings that are proof of a deal being fomented, Ruto and Raila met Delaware Senator Chris Coons, who is credited for spearheading talks between fourth President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila that culminated into the famous 2018 handshake. It said Odinga nominated Kalonzo to take over as opposition leader, who will be deputized by 2 other leaders. A move that is likely to once again emasculate the opposition and see Kenyans on their own as it did in 2018, during the famous handshake between Odinga and Kenyatta. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi had hinted 3 weeks ago while in Raila's Nyanza background that Kenyans will be surprised by some pleasant news coming from the Ruto administration. He did not elaborate, leading political pundits to speculate about an impending handshake between the president and former prime minister.
Nataka muniangalie vizuri. Hivi karibuni, we shall be surprising you with some very important news and pleasant.
The president is currently engaged in a charm offensive with various African countries in efforts to see that Raila clinches their position that will elevate him from being a veteran opposition politician to a pan-Africanist with influence in the 54 countries. Kenya Kwanza Alliance politicians are excited at the prospects of Raila leaving the political scene, making it easier for Ruto to be re-elected for a second term in 2027, where the president is expected to inherit a section of Raila's political constituency with the leverage of backing him for the AU post. The National Dialogue Committee is set for debate in Parliament Tuesday. It will be interesting to watch how both the government and the opposition will handle the various issues, especially following the nomination of Raila in AU bid. Grace Ganga, KTN News, Nairobi.
Now, President William Ruto.
Okay, so we see that. Okay, so this was actually under the works, and I want to get to that. I will get to that later. Let's now tackle this issue of Raila Odinga, the 7 steps that Raila Odinga actually took. Sorry, not Raila Odinga, but Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto. Hi, these people are. Okay, let's get to it. 7 steps that William Ruto actually took to have total power in Kenya. Let's break them down. As in you folks, I want you to gather around and you can see how Ruto played the game to win. You guys were short. You are looking at the short-term wins, but you fail to look at the bigger picture, how this guy played you. I'm about to break it down. Are you ready? Okay. Grab some popcorn, grab some tea. Kama unakula tafadhali, weka chakula chini. Chukua kalamu na ukae usikie hapa kwa mtandao nikikuelezea vile Ruto alichukua hii kitu na vile Ruto anaenda kuwa rule, okay? Are you ready? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, sasa ndio tumeanza vizuri. I've dealt with you and I've explained to you that Raila Odinga's education credentials are at stake. We want to make sure that this guy actually have his we're going to have explained. Can you produce his primary school and secondary school certificates? Can you bring 1 or 2 of his classmates from primary school and secondary school who graduated with you? Can you produce anyone who went to college with this guy? Can you produce any certificate from that school in Germany of where he's said to have become an engineer? Can you produce that certificate of graduation, his graduation in your certificate, okay? Can you produce it? There's none. There is none. So we leave that one alone. So 7 steps that William Samoei took to actually have total power. Number 1, initially I've been telling you, Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta had a deal. Kumira. 10 kumi zangu, kumi zako. I'll repeat. Kumi zangu, kumi zako. We thought they were joking, but that thing was reality. The reason why I ask, step number 1, Ruto had to make sure, okay, that Uhuru Kenyatta was going to actually pass in the sword, pass the authority to him, okay? That is number 1. Number 1 business, step 1. Ruto. Ruto worked with Uhuru Kenyatta to actually beat Raila Odinga. Let's not fool ourselves with that. They worked together in secret to beat Raila Odinga. This I have showed you several times. I've made a video of that. If you want to look at, go through my channel. If you're subscribed, go look at my videos. I've made a video of that, how they played Raila, okay? And Raila was in it too. But this was all to fool people. I want to give you a proper perspective of how Kenyan politics works, okay? We have the laws that are supposed to actually govern us. Each and everyone, the constitution and the laws thereof that they make from this constitution, okay, that is supposed to actually help us govern us, okay? But there are a few individuals, okay, who happen to be above the law. These are the tribal chieftains who we call the political rulers of this country, who tend to be above the law. The William Rutos, the Raila Odingas, the Uhuru Kenyatas, and so forth, so forth. That's why when these guys actually defy the court orders, nothing happens to them. They can break the law, kill, do whatever they want, but nothing happens to them. If there is any kind of conflict among these political rulers, tribal chieftains, the country always descends into civil war. Not exactly all the time, but that is what they make us to believe. So we kind of let them get away with these crimes that way, in the name of saying, you know what, let's not touch him, because if we touch him, this can actually spark a civil war. Okay, we cannot arrest Odinga for doing this, because if we arrest him, it turns out tribal war. We cannot arrest William Ruto, because if we arrest him, it will start tribal war. We cannot arrest Uhuru Kenyatta, because if we arrest him, so these guys are above the law. Okay, they make deals within themselves. Okay, and they also point their next appointees who will be part of that political ruling class. The next are the Babu, we know, Sifunas and all these people, Kalwales and whatever. That's why you see the Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua, Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, William Ruto, they've been in power for the past 20 plus years. They're the same people handpicked by our colonial masters to do exactly that. Divide us and drive the agenda of the colonial master. But let's get to it. The number one order of business for William Ruto was to make sure Uhuru Kenyatta comes good in his promise to hand over power to him after he won the election. Yes, he won fair and square. There's no evidence that suggests that Raila actually won this election, okay? He won fair and square. So number one, write it down. Write it down again, write it down. Ruto made sure Uhuru Kenyatta alipitisha hiyo ninio sword. Sword is a symbol of authority. I may hand over power to who? To Nani. Because I've always argued here, okay? Uhuru Kenyatta defied all the court orders. Uhuru Kenyatta didn't want to respect anything that the Supreme Court or Supreme Court said. Remember when the IEBC declared him president, then the evidence was brought in court in 2017, and Maraga Kangalia evidence and said that this election was not what? Free, fair, and transparent as it is required by the Constitution. It was not. So this election should be repeated, okay? And before it is repeated, the IEBC should be reconstituted, okay? One of our later IEBC mpia. It's not the same players, okay? Uhuru refused. In fact, he had the audacity to call the IEBC in the State House and talk to them and told them that, no, sitafanya hiyo kitu. And he went and shot the Justice Mwita's bodyguard to death. And there was a re-election where he ran by himself and declared himself president. So what I'm saying is this. If Uhuru Kenyatta did not like William Ruto, as we were meant to believe, he will never hand over that power to Ruto. That's number one. Get that very clear. Andika chini. If he truly hated Ruto as we were meant to believe, he would have never handed that sword to Ruto. So these guys were playing us. Okay, that's number one. So number one step that Ruto did was to make sure a hand over power. Remember, even before the election, Ruto said it. Ata waeke Oburu Odinga kwa the head of IEBC, he will win. Okay, so this guy made a calculated move to know that, hey, hii kiti inakuja. We already agreed with the with Uhuru, tutacheza mzee na tutapata power namna hii. Na atanipatia nini? Atanipitia hiyo sword. And it happened. Now, even before he was sworn in, Ruto is so clever. Let me tell you why Ruto is clever. And I'm not here to I'm saying he's a very, he's not performing well or whatever. I'm not a fan of him. But I'm just explaining to you as the new folks to open your eyes, and the country in general to open your eyes how this man operates, okay? Uhuru used to rule with a heavy hand, okay? Uhuru ni mtu ambayo ukimdisrespect anakuendea anakumaliza. Period. Mambo inamalizana hapo. Nani uses finesse. huyu jamaa anatumia finesse. Unajua finesse ni nini? Go look for it. Yani he has a soft velvet glove but with the iron hand on top of it, uko chini yake, okay? So this is what happens, okay? Before he got to power, William Ruto looked at who will be his biggest threat in Kenya. I will repeat. He looked at who will be the biggest threat to him in Kenya, who will jeopardize his presidency, okay? Remember, he was the vice president, but he was the deputy president since 2013, okay? So by 2022, he knows the powers that were driving the Azimio. Raila is somebody who you can buy, okay? But there was one man who was not in Kenya but had great influence. In fact, he was the one who was behind the swearing in. Mr. Miguna Miguna. Miguna Miguna was still in Canada, was forcefully exiled by Uhuru Kenyatta, okay? And he was the most vocal who was talking against the regime, the Uhuru and William Samoei Ruto's regime. He was criticizing them and he was threatening them and he was saying he was coming back. So what did Ruto do? The first order of business, he said, he went and met Miguna and promised him, told him, hey, listen, we are all Kenyans. I will make sure I bring you back once I become president, okay? So listen to me. The number one order of business was to make sure Uhuru Kenyatta passes that sword, the authority. That's number one. Write it down. That's number one. Number two, he identified his number one future headache, which was Miguna Miguna. So he went and reached out to him and told him, hey, listen, brother, we are all Kenyans. I know uko hapa ninio, uko hapa Canada, watu walikubomolea nyumba, walikutocha, but me, I'll bring you back. I'll send you a new passport, enda kachukue, I'll bring you back. But in return, usini criticize. Wewe chunga. It is something verbally understood. Mtu akikuleta hivyo, if somebody does you a favor, it's very hard for somebody like Miguna Miguna. Now that he's back in Kenya, it's very hard for him to actually go after Ruto the way he used to. Remember before 2022, Nani alikuwa anamwendea. You know, he was really going in on him. But Nani kept a promise to him. He was like, hey, listen, you're a Kenyan, I'm a Kenyan, I will bring you home. Hata kama politically we don't agree, but I don't agree with what Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga did to you. I will bring you back home. So Miguna naturally feels indebted to Ninio. He was not doing him a favor, of course. Nani was not doing him a favor. President Ruto was not doing his Miguna a favor. But it was a good gesture as from one Kenyan to another. I will remove you from exile and I will make sure nobody touches you when you come to Kenya. Of course, if somebody does that to you, it is very hard to actually start criticizing him if you come to Kenya. That's why, yes, Miguna always criticizes the government, but he's not really out there overtly doing so. He's doing so in a very, clever way, not like he used to, okay? Remember? So, number two, after number one, making sure that Kenyatta passed the Ninio power to him, number two was to actually make sure that he made things right with Miguna, who was his potential future enemy, because this guy is not somebody you can control. He will speak his mind. He will speak the truth. So do him that favor, make it right with him, bring him back, make sure that he's compensated for the damages that happened, for the torture that he's endured, for the house that was destroyed, and the monetary ninio ya ambali he suffered, okay? So he brought Miguna back. That he was going to be, because remember, if Miguna was to come back today, not brought back by Ruto, Miguna would be on Ruto's case like nobody else, okay? Because he has a voice. He has 2.5 million followers and more still following. So, number one, he got William Ruto. He got the power transferred for him from Uhuru. Number two, he got Miguna back in Kenya, the biggest threat to any government, Kenyan government, okay? Especially if he's against you. Number three, okay? Now Ruto is the president, okay? He's the president of the Republic of Kenya. What is the next step? The next step is to take over Parliament. Parliament, he didn't have to take over. Again, this was the part of the deal. I will show you part of the deal. And it's tied in with why Azimio lost, because it was a trick. Hii ni mpango ya Ruto na Uhuru, but Raila still probably doesn't know it or knows it, but he doesn't want to address it. But it is part of the deal. I'll show you why. Well, let me show you. Watch this clip. Watch this clip. Let's watch this clip. Nataka ufuatilie hii. Are you ready, guys? Wacha nionyeshe sasa ndio mjue mambo bad. Okay, let me show you this clip so you can understand what I'm talking about. How William Ruto took over the legislative body. It was a masterstroke. It was something that already walishapanga. Nyinyi mnekaka hapo mnafikiria. Ndio naambia Azimio, you guys amna maplana, you don't have people who think. Nyinyi ni watu wa makelele tu, mnapiga makelele. That's why you'll never Azimio cannot liberate anyone, because they're a bunch of people who don't think. They're just cows. They follow people around. Study your enemy if you're going to deny your political enemy, if you're going to go after him. But let me play you this clip that actually shows how this guy has actually played the Azimio folks. Let's go. Are you ready? And you're your basi. Okay, keep. I'll be quiet.
Jubilee was not given a slot. And we kept on raising that issue. However, anytime that we raised that Jubilee was not properly represented in Azimio, they always tell us that but the chairman, who is the current president, is in it. But he was retiring. So fast forward, when we went to the elections, of course, there were issues here and there. There were no agents. The elections were were not properly done. And especially on our side, we didn't even have a tallying center. It's very interesting when I hear people saying that the elections were stolen, and you ask yourself, what were we comparing with? You know, we were just relying on God knows where. I don't know. There were people quoting, NIS has the figures, a certain media station has the figures and all that. So we were not ready for that election. So when we lost, now came the issue of formation of the leadership in the House. I remember our members were relegated. The leader of majority then, because we thought that we were the majority coalition, the person who was to occupy the position of the leader of majority was from ODM, Opio and I. The deputy, Robert Boy, is from Wiper. Then we were given a peripheral seat of the deputy whip. We felt shortchanged. We decided some of us, to just say enough is enough. After that, then there was the issue of the Yala elections, which were very, very pertinent and very key to me. I was nominated by Jubilee alongside Honorable Kioni and Fatuma Gedi from Jubilee, and we were now to go and fight with the rest. And I remember going to my ODM peers, wooing them to vote for me. And I was shocked that they were telling me, no, Kanini, we are not very sure whether we are going to give you that position because you lied to Baba together with Uhuru. You two lied to Baba that you are going to give him the presidency. And you didn't. And I was taken aback because I lost my position as a member of parliament in Kenya for standing against the grain. And I remember at that time trying to look for a party leader to give the party position. There was no party position. So I fought for myself. And it was a very trying moment. I had self-reflection and I said, I have made so many sacrifices, but the people I sacrificed for are not fighting for me. So we said, where do we feel more aligned? Where do we feel more at home? And naturally, we found ourselves talking to them. And the good thing is that they also received us with open arms. And the good thing is that they said, we don't know, and we were also very categorical, and we still remain categorical, that we are not dissolving our party. But the good thing is that what we have been able to achieve through this is that now Jubilee is a parliamentary party. The decisions that were being made in Jubilee were not being, channeled through the proper structures. There was an external hand. There were people who are not officials of the party who were controlling the business of the party. There was one particular individual who could say whether money will be released from the bank or not. And that person was not an official of the party. You know, those are the kind of shackles our members were in. Our members could tell you that they were being forced, those signatories, they were being forced to sign, blank checks. Later on, to only find that X amount of money was withdrawn, with your name, but your signature was there. However, you don't know where that money went. It will be foolhardy for us in Jubilee to oppose a government whose foundation is ours. That's our baby. The Kenya Kwanza government is purely our baby.
So you see
when
here,
time came to...
So you see here, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Kanini Kega is explaining the split, why they got out of the Azimio coalition. Now, I explained to you, this was done with the blessing of Uhuru Kenyatta, but Uhuru Kenyatta cannot be explicitly involved in this, because if he does, it will be apparent that it was a plan between him and Ruto to actually totally dismantle and to render Azimio powerless. So he had to do it in a way that seems like Kanini Kega and Chege was taking the party away from him and the David Murades of this world. But this was done by design, okay? Once he handed over power to Ruto, okay? Remember, he handed power to Ruto. After he handed power to Ruto, Ruto went and got Miguna back, so he doesn't receive that criticism. Number 3, he knew he needed the parliament, okay? So while Azimio folks, walikuwa nalala snoozing, these Jubilee, they've done their job. Wameona wamesha realize Azimio imeshindwa, okay? Let's go back to our original brothers, because this Jubilee folks, this is part of UDA. Jubilee is part of UDA. UDA was formed after Jubilee ilianza kwama huko. Unakumbuka? They were one. So Jubilee, after mission has been accomplished, Raila ameshindwa, they are going back to where they belong at the first. But they wanted to do it in a way that still confuses the Azimio folks, so that the Azimio folks cannot suspect that actually wao watu walisikizana. They try to make it as if there was kulkonga na fracas between the Murade and Uhuru Kenyatta and Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega. No. These people, it was done by design. And by Jubilee leaving Azimio and going back to Kenya Kwanza, or working together, as Kanini Kenya has told us, it tilts the balance in the parliament. Okay? So now the Kenya Kwanza has the majority in the legislative body, whether it's in the Senate or in the new house, okay? And that's why this case is still, I think they took it to court. They want to clarify who actually has more the majority, okay? Because the Azimio folks are arguing that Jubilee did not officially leave the coalition legally, okay? So they cannot claim that so Kenya Kwanza cannot claim that they are the majority, because these guys did not actually leave the Ninio party. But again, that's why you see Kanini Kega is very careful in how he's describing. He's saying we are a standalone parliamentary party, okay? They're not saying that they've joined Kenya Kwanza, okay? But obviously, as he have said, he's working. We felt like it was natural for us to actually work together with Kenya Kwanza, which gives Kenya Kwanza the majority. So there you go. So we are now number 3. What has he done? What has Ruto done? He made sure Uhuru passed the Ninio, passed the sword as he promised. Number 2, he got the biggest critic of that government, Uhuru Ruto government, to come back from Ninio and silence him in a way, okay? Number 3, he took over the parliament by doing what? By bringing back the Jubilee in the Kenya Kwanza form. That way he has the majority. Who is the Ninio House leader? Who is the head of the majority? Ichungwa, and the speaker is Nani, what's his name? Wetangula, okay? So they have control of this. That's number 3. Number 4, what did Ruto do to have absolute power? He had to make sure that he's loyal to the colonial masters. He had to make sure that he's loyal to the colonial masters. How does he do that? IMF loans. Number 2, GMOs. Number 3, ile mambo ya carbon nonsense, climate change nonsense, okay? He had to show that he's loyal to the West. Because if you're not loyal to the West, they will take you out through coup d'etat or through sponsoring a popular revolution like they did with Mossadegh, or other means, or assassination. This is how the West works. So he had to prove his loyalty. That's why you see he maintained the VAT taxes in eneo ya mafuta na hizi high taxes, the finance bill and all that, and high taxes. These are IMF policies that were written by IMF World Bank officers telling Ruto, hey, listen, go pass this in parliament. Since there's the parliament, they can implement any policy that they want, that IMF want, okay? That's why you see all these laws about implementing your privatization and all this nonsense, because I've explained in my other videos, the whole reason why IMF and Renew and World Bank gives you loans is to take control of your economy, including health, education, minerals, and all that, by bringing their friendly multinational corporations to take over your economy. That's why you see there's a lot of everything is being privatized in Kenya. Nothing, no every parastatal. They tell you, oh, if you want something efficient, these governmental bodies to be efficient, privatize it. Privatize it. Who are they privatizing it to? To the international community. This is how the IMF work. I've explained it in another video. Please go look at the previous video. So that's what number 3. Number 1 was Uhuru pass the baton, pass the power to Ruto. That's number 1. Number 2 was Miguna, silence him. Number 3 was get the legislative body. Number 4 was get the loyalty of the West. Prove that you're loyal to the West. Prove that you're a true puppet of the West. You have to. That's why you see Ruto was giving speeches, great speeches in Paris. He's flying over here. He's the chairman of I don't know what. Now he's the AU chairman of I don't know institutional committee. He was the chairman of climate change. I don't know what. Even Nairobi had to host the climate change nonsense. Let's go to number 5. The 4th one. Okay. The number 4th one is the judiciary. You know, you can take over the legislative body, but Ruto was finding it hard with the judiciary. The judiciary was stopping his unconstitutional policies that were originated from the IMF and World Bank, because we have a constitution. And how can we get, changing the constitution is such a huge process, okay? It takes time. So what do? Instead of going and having a plebiscite or a referendum, which they still wanted, that's why they're going to debate that Nadco thing on Tuesday, tomorrow. At the meantime, let's deal with these judges properly, because these judges are ruling things according to how we don't want it. They're stopping our policies. These IMF policies are being stopped because we have a constitution, we have laws that actually maintain sovereignty of Kenya. But Ruto wants to pitisha hiyo kitu, okay? But the thing, people who are stopping him is the judicial arm of government. Like Raila explained in that video that I played earlier when he was in Germany, that when the executive does not get its way and is being stopped by the judiciary, what does this executive do? You start saying these judges are corrupt. These judges are corrupt. The judiciary is corrupt. The judiciary is corrupt. Let's get rid of this new judge. So, what did Ruto do? Remember when he got Koome? Alienda kaleta Koome, akamwambia, hey, Koome, come here. We need a meeting. Sit down. I will give you several cars, and you want some more judges, I'll give you some more judges. God knows what else he gave to Koome, okay? Basically, and now if you notice, every case that has been stopped by the judiciary is no longer going to be going to the High Court or the Appellate Court. It will be going straight to the Supreme Court of Kenya. And guess who will be presiding over that case? it will be Martha Koome. Koome will be presiding over that case. Now, you see, this affordable housing. Si unakumbuka vile watu ilipelekwa and the High Court declared it unconstitutional. Wakaenda kwa appellate court, the appellate court considered it unconstitutional. So wamerudi hapo kwa parliament, wanajifanya ati wanaiandika tena ati we want to correct the things that was sijui nini. And this time Wetangula is not taking it to the High Court and appellate court. He's taking it straight to the Supreme Court. And guess who is going to preside over that case? Martha Koome and her judges, her justices, the Supreme Court justices, who met William Samoei Ruto. Alishakutana na Waiguru, akakutana na Wetangula, the head of governors, the head of legislative body, and the head of Supreme Court. Okay? So he told Koome, fanya hiyo kitu. Okay? Because he's not worried about the High Court. He's not worried about the koti zengine or the lower courts. He's going straight to the highest court of the land, which he has already talked to the head of that court, who is Martha Koome. Kamwambia, we, skia, this is what I want. Okay? Now, in order to get those things passed in the parliament also, you know, Ruto had a small headache called Raila Odinga. But that headache he knows. Ruto knows Raila Odinga. Remember, he was in 2017 when Raila Odinga alikubali handshake. He probably called Uhuru Kenyatta and asked Uhuru Kenyatta, hey, Uhuru Kenyatta, how do we deal with this Raila Odinga? Kamwambia, huyo mzee mpatie kiti hapo. So he gave Raila Odinga the kiti. So let's review. Again, number one thing that he did, make sure Uhuru Kenyatta passes the sword power. Number two, get Miguna, the biggest critic, a threat to their government, to come back, akariembas, so he silenced Miguna in effect. Number three, what did he do? Number three was get control of the legislative body by, number one, get wakina Sabina Chege to bring Jubilee back to our side in Kenya Kwanza, to be our affiliates, okay? Number four, show that you're loyal to the Western powers. Because the Western powers, if you're not in line with them, what will they do? Watakutoa nje. So be aligned with the Western powers. So they're not a threat to you. Mko laini moja. Ndio maana unaona sa Ruto is everywhere. He's the darling of the West. Okay? Because he's doing what they want. Okay? Number five, get Raila on your side. Get him what he wants. Okay? Aache kusumbua na hii maandamano, anaharibu story hapa. Hii maandamano ishe. So what do? Make a deal with him. Leta Obasanjo hapa, wacha kuja usuluhu, tuongee, ndio hiyo AU amepewa. He's going to get that AU. I can tell you right now. So AU amepewa hiyo AU. So he has taken care of 5 levels of power. All of them, the powerful people who can be his headache. Number 6, another headache that he needs to get out of. I think number 6 or 7, whatever the case is, okay? Is this litigious antagonistic folks who likes running to the courts. Okia Omtata. Do you think it's a coincidence that Okia Omtata actually had an accident in Kisumu? Do you think it was just an accident? Hiyo kitu ilikuwa tu alikuwa na Okia Omtata. All this time Okia Omtata amekuwa accident. Remember, accident has been used as a way of getting rid of problematic people. Bishop Muge, even Kibaki, even Raila survived. When Raila was really against Moi, there was a time he survived an accident. Nani Kibaki, before he took over power, remember, alikuwa kwa accident, akapelekwa, was it London or England or somewhere, to kupata matibabu. Accidents are usually used to get rid of the political opposition. Has somebody actually prodded, asked the question, who was the driver of that tanker? And the drivers who are also involved around that accident. What happened? You see, Okia Omtata is silent now. If you listen to Omtata's speeches, Okia Omtata made it very clear that Ruto wants to kill him. And it's not only Ruto. Okia Omtata has been very vocal against the IMF and the World Bank influence in our country. Okay? Okiya Omtata has been exposing the rot and the corruption that has been happening at the treasury. Okay? Ile pesa iliibiwa na Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto's regime. Okiya Omtata has been speaking about this. And the reason why Okiya Omtata is a bigger threat than anybody else is that Okiya Omtata is actually member of the legislative body. He can make laws. He's a lawyer. He can go to the courts and bring these cases to the courts, to the judiciary, and say, hey, he has been stopping most of these things, saying, hey, this thing is unconstitutional. This finance bill is unconstitutional. This affordable housing is unconstitutional. Going to Haiti is constitutional. Watch out, Ekuru Court. Ekuru Court went to the court for the new. You'll see something will happen to Ekuru Court. Okay? Because these are the people who are actually the enemy of the state. Because everybody else silenciwa. Everybody else has been taken care of. Everybody except Okiya Omtata. Ndio maana unaona Okiya Omtata has gotten to that accident. Of course, if they shoot Okiya Omtata and kill him, if he's shot, wakasema ati ni robbery, it will be obvious that they assassinated Okiya Omtata. So they can't do that. Okay? Omtata is a lawyer. He is a lawyer, actually. He is. Fagio, go look at it. Google it. It doesn't take much. Just Google. He is a lawyer. Okay? So what I'm saying is this. I've told you. He made sure, number one, he got power from Uhuru Kenyatta. That's number one. Number two, he got Miguna to come back. And Miguna now is silent as to what the government is doing. Yes, he's speaking, but he's not as doing vehemently like he used to. Okay. Number three, what did he do? He took care of the legislative body. Total control, by getting Jubilee to come back to him. Number four, he made sure that the West is backing him by doing their bidding. Okay. The West are doing his bidding. Okay. What's the next one? After that, he went for the judiciary. Number five, he went for the judiciary. Akakutana na Koome, akaambia Koome, sikia, this is what I need you to do. And that's why every case now that is going to be happening will be decided by the Supreme Court. He's not stopping at the High Court or Appellate Court. He's going straight to the Supreme Court because Martha Koome will be presiding over it. And I'm ongea na Martha Koome already. Okay? Number six, he already took care of Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga maandamano imeisha. Opposition is dead. Msiniambie mambo ya Kalonzo, Martha Karua, all those nonsense hawatamsumbua kichwa. That's number six. Raila Odinga akampatia kiti ya AU. By the way, whether Raila gets that AU seat or not, that's enough to shut him down. Because think about it like this. The AU chairman, the next AU chairman will be chosen in January. Okay? So between now and January, Raila Odinga has to do what? Campaign. Atakuwa anatembea huku hizi makantri zote akijaribu kuwa convince ati wamchague as the AU chairperson. Okay? While they're doing that, Azimio will be choosing their presidential candidate. So if Raila fails, okay, if Raila fails to get that chair, na akirudi hapa tena sasa kuingia kwa siasa nyingine, it's very hard because the deal has been struck. Ruto wameingiana na a contract with Ruto, akamwambia, hey, I will support you for this chair. In turn, wewe uachane na siasa ya local ninio. That's the deal. Wacha niwaambie hivyo. So ndio upoeze hizi mambo ya maandamano na mambo mengine, wewe enda kimbilia ninio, I'll support you. And Ruto is already the chairperson of the infrastructure, whatever, of AU. So he's going to put it up. Raila is going to get that skitty, regardless of his education credentials, okay? He's going to get it. The West is supporting Raila. They have handpicked Raila Odinga for that reason, okay? That's why you see Chris Kunzu was part of this negotiation. Obasanjo is part of the negotiation. Suluhu was part of that selection. So he's going to get it. He's going to get it. Okay? So he got rid of Raila Odinga. And then lastly, he got Okiya Omtata. And Okiya Omtata is not going to be the only one that Ruto goes for. Nani, Okuru Court, to be careful. Anyone else that actually goes and takes these cases, challenges these cases, government policies that are unconstitutional, that they're taking it and challenging at the courts, will be dealt with. Okiya Omtata mentioned that Nani, remember, he reported to the police in Busia that Nani anataka kumuua. So Okiya Omtata knows that somebody has been trying to threaten him and to stop him. And Okiya Omtata has been saying this. So you see, we are not taking those threats serious. Tunacheka, tunafikiri Okiya Omtata, ujamani cheesy, ujamani. No, This guy has single-handedly stopped most of these unconstitutional policies by Ruto, by challenging them in courts. It's very hard for the courts to actually rule against Okiya Mtata if he has compelling evidence that these policies are unconstitutional. So yeah, I'm breaking it down. This is what the 7 things that Uhuru Kenyatta did. Sorry, not Uhuru Kenyatta. William Ruto did to actually take complete control of Kenya power. He's now going to be the most powerful Kenyan president since Moi and Kenyatta won. Okay, I mean, Nani was, like I said, Uhuru Kenyatta ruled with the heavy hand. This guy is doing it in a very through finesse. Hi, Brother Benson. So, in summation, again, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades, how did he do it? 7 steps that he did. Number 1, he made sure Kenyatta passed the sword. Alimpatia power. All the instruments of power was given to him. That's number 1. Number 2, he got the biggest threat that actually almost overthrew him. Miguna brought him back to silence him. Miguna is not like he did. He understands, okay? He's not amfanyii vile alikuwa anamfanyia kitambo. I'm criticized vile alifanya. Number 3, okay? He took care of the legislative body. Wakina Sabina Chege, Kanini Kega, waliwacha Azimio wakaingia ninio Jubilee, gave him majority. He is in control of the legislative body. That's number 3. Number 4, he made sure he's very, very, very ninio now with the Western powers, okay? The British and Americans. He's in good line. That's why analeta hizi GMO, climate change nonsense, and all this stuff to be in the good. Your manner, he was made the climate change, whatever. That's why we had the climate change thing in Nairobi happening. Okay, and Kenya gave I don't know how many acres of land to UN for the climate change nonsense. Okay, and he went and gave speech in France. Remember that? That's number 4. He was doing that to win the loyalty of the West. That's number 4. Number 5, he made sure he got neutralized Raila Odinga. Neutralize Raila Odinga how? By AU, okay? Kuja tuongee, NADCO, okay? Wacha maandamano. Saina kupatia kazi ya AU. Raila, if he gets that AU, and he's going to get it, it will be over. As the opposition is over. Okay, so you're taking care of, those are 5. Number 6, judiciary. Why did he meet Koome? He went and met Koome because now every case that these are going to the legislative body, they are going straight to the Supreme Court. And guess who will be presiding over those cases? Martha Koome. Okay? Martha Koome, who he met, and he promised to give money and judges and money for whatever. Number 7, the antagonists. Hawa watu ambao wanapeleka kesi kwa koti saa yote ati hii policies ni unconstitutional. Oh, this union is unconstitutional. AKA Okiya Mtata. He just got an accident. That was a clear message to Okiya Mtata. Okiya Mtata has been telling us that Ruto is trying to kill him. We thought it was a joke. Funny enough, he just got in an accident. Mnafikiri ni accident tu ya kawaida. That is a warning shot to Okiya Mtata. Go look at his post today. He says something, nothing will stop me, or whatever. Okay? Fagia La Chuma is telling us opposition is dead. Bro, the next opposition, I think that's what you're right. The next opposition is going to be worse and probably more bloody. Kalonzo can do nothing. In fact, he will be the worst for Azimio. This river is going to take and shape. Okay, I agree with you. Basically, you're saying that Kalonzo Musyoka is not going to mean anything. I agree with you. Kalonzo, like I say, 2027, we might as well give it to Ruto right now. Even with all that stuff that is happening, okay? Yes, the economy is bad, all that stuff, whatever. It's over. And by the way, if Raila gets this position, Azimio itabomoka overnight. Already, I'm seeing on other... In fact, right now, Azimio, even within itself, wameanza ku blame... they have started blaming the Mount Kenya people. You are the guys who voted for Ruto, you're the guys who did Sujunini, you're the guys who Sujunini. They've started the blame game, okay? And in Luo Nyanza, oh my goodness. I don't know. They've been singing praises for Raila Odinga for them to be re-elected. Of course, they have to do that in Luo Alliance. Now that Raila Odinga is not going to take an active role in case he gets that Cheoya AU. I don't know these people from Luo Nyanza if they're going to be Ninio. I know they'll have to evoke Raila's name, but I don't know if they'll get the support, because that will kind of messes up that. That's why I'm saying Ruto has absolutely neutralized every threat, whether it's from the former president. Of course, the former president was in on it with him, whether it's the judiciary, okay, by making a deal with Koome, whether it's the legislative body where he has the majority, okay, whether it's Raila Odinga who he has now sent to AU, okay, whether it's Okiya Omtatah who he has tried to kill, and this is allegedly, I'm not saying that he's Ninio, but there's good chance that whoever wanted Okiya Omtatah dead in that accident in Kisumu is somebody who is pro-government. I will tell you that. We've known that in history. Bishop Muge died in the accident. There were so many people who died. Saitoti, before he died in that helicopter accident, I think he was involved in an accident too. Kibaki, before he was made president, mtu alijaribu kummaliza hapo kwa road accident. Raila Odinga in the mid-90s, when he was talking, was speaking against Moi, he was in an accident. He survived. Okay, so many people, political always end up dying in It's a way of getting rid of them, because, like I said, if they were to shoot to Okiya Omtatah saizi wakimuua, it would be so obvious the government did it. In fact, it can bring something. It might be a very huge scandal that can bring down the government. Okay, so they would rather do it in a way that actually seems natural way, which is an accident. We know in Kenya, people that Saitoti, you think Saitoti died of helicopter accident? Speaking of which, rest in peace, whatever he is. Okay, that was not a normal Your case ilimalizwa hivyo because he had a dozy of powerful people who are involved on some drug stuff, okay? And they got rid of it. So accidents is another way of actually assassinating political opponents, okay? Now, Fagiola Chuma is saying what? Nyanza is already Babu Owino, though I would have loved someone like Otiende. Babu is the radical that Nyanza will gravitate towards. Yes. I mean, yes, I see why I see why Babu Owino is, he's young, and I say this about Babu Owino. Babu Owino has the ingredients, but the problem is Babu Owino seems like a young man. Ukimwona hata kwa sura, if you're looking at Babu Owino, if you look at how he behaves like someone who's not really there maturity wise, okay? Easy cases of piga watu bunduki, posing with guns, and I know he stopped doing that, but if you look at him, the way he appears, he doesn't seem mature, okay? I'm not saying he's like Osoro. Osoro is an imbecile, but I'm saying Babu Owino in appearance, ukimwangalia, he looks like a young man who's not ready. He talks with vigor. He's not really composed as a, like a politician, an adult, okay? Just picture this. Fagio, picture this, okay? If Babu Owino was to stand alongside with Musalia Mudavadi in a debate, and they're debating, who would seem presidential, even if, regardless of their politics, okay? Wakisimama hapo, Musalia looks like an adult, well-dressed, suiti, calm, thinks about what he says. I'm not saying Musalia I don't like his politics, but I'm just saying, if you are to juxtapose the two and compare the two, one looks like a mature adult, and one looks like, bado ni kijana ambayo ako na ile you have to seem, you need to be a little bit more presidential, okay? It's okay to say that yalala, but there's a time for it, there's a place for it. Babu Owino just seems like he's still young, okay? That's why I'm saying the MP position is still better for him. If it was the MP, I always say Sifuna will be my guy to go for governorship for Nairobi. I would say Sifuna will be the best bet for me. Sifuna is kind of making that transition. Sifuna, yes, anapiga magalele, is heckling and anavaa masufuria huko, but Nani can be sober. He's a really sober, akivaa ile suti, and he stands up there. He can actually make his case, and I think he's a lawmaker. He's a lawyer, right? Okay, which makes, I'm not saying that being a lawyer is a plus, but I'm just saying ukiangalia too by the two, you say, okay, Fagi saying Mudavadi will seem presidential, but in the debate, Babu will beat Mudavadi hands down. Yeah, but you know what's funny, Fagio? You know what's funny? Sometimes perception is reality. You can have somebody who actually wins the debate but ends up losing in public opinion. What do I mean? Like you made that's a very good comment. You say Mudavadi will seem presidential, but in any debate, Babu Owino will beat Mudavadi hands down, which is probably true. But I'm saying this. Humans are very funny. Human is very funny. People are not even wanasikia, but they're not scaring. You understand what I'm saying? I want to angalia too your appearance, how you appear. Remember Sakaja? Sakaja, why is Sakaja? Why did Sakaja win? I heard he win because of his dimples. Okay, that's all I'm saying is this. The point I'm trying to make is this: people will not vote for you basically because you're winning a debate. Unasikia? Winning a debate is good, but it does not mean that people will vote for you because you won a debate. It is how your track record, especially look at all these people who are in power right now, whether it's Ruto, Raila, Martha Karua, Kalonzo. They've been in power for a long time. Yani kwa in the limelight, in whether they were, Martha was the union or constitution and union. Okay, I'm just saying they look at how the way you are, the way you carry yourself. Even though Mudavadi might lose the debate, but he might not lose the vote just because he appears like he's been there before. He's more calm, he's more presidential, he's more mature. Right? Babu Owino looks like, Tialala. I'll go ahead. Let me just read your other comment. Okay, if I was to choose between Sifuna and Babu, I would go for Sifuna any day. Those shenanigans Babu was involved with, dances. I agree, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying Babu Owino, he has time on his side because he's in his 30s, right? In his mid 30s, okay? Wacha akae kwa siasa kidogo. You have to wait for your time. 5, 4, 10 years, because if he's in 30s, maybe 5 years from now, he can go for governorship. I would say if I was him, if I was to give him advice, and Babu Owino, if you're watching on X, watch this. I would stay in Embakasi East until 2032. Then run for governorship. Okay? Then after governorship, which up 10 years, you'll be on your 50s or early 50s. Run for presidency after that. Because now you'll have a track record. Okay? Again, you made a point. You're right. Izo mashenanigans. Give people time to forget what you did back then. Izo mabunduki. Because right now it's still fresh. Remember when they were having an argument with Sakaja, and Sakaja immediately brought those pictures of Babu Owino shooting somebody. So give people time to actually know and see your work. Yes, as a mwanabunge, I heard you're doing wonderful things. Go ahead, do another 4 years or 5 years, ingia governorship, chap 10 years. After 10 years, you have a good track record and people have a clear idea who you are. And you will be one of the most senior, politicians in Kenya, not only ODM, and you'll be ready for presidency. That's how I see it. Okay. And then, like I say, Sifuna is more ready than Sakaja. I think so. Sifuna, not because alimaliza Mungatana, but Sifuna seems like somebody who, he has head over his shoulders. He can debate, he can heckle, he can play both sides. He's right there. Called middle age, ameacha ile makelele mingi. He can go to the makelele, but he's kind of, so yeah. But as of now, Azimio are going to be, if Raila was to go to AU, Azimio is done until 2032. Done. Presidentially, yo musahau. Raila kitoka kwa scene, because Martha Karua, I don't see Martha Karua beating Ruto. I don't see Kalonzo beating Ruto. Like somebody said, who will vote for Kalonzo in Luo Nyanza? There'll be voter apathy. Nobody will really, Bila Baba, I doubt, okay? Mount Kenya, you'll get some. Anybody in Azimio besides Raila Odinga cannot floor William Ruto. Let's just face it. Anybody in Azimio right now, apart from Raila Odinga, cannot beat William Ruto. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been 1 hour. Fagiola Chuma, thank you so much for joining me. Brother Benson, everyone else, if you're on X and you're watching this, please like the video. Do not forget, that is the requirement. And if you, Fagiola Chuma, come on with your subscribe. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. And like the video so it goes out there so Babu Owino can see it and Musalia Mudavadi can see it, okay? And Raila can also see it. Please like the video, share. Thank you so much. It's been 1 hour. I've been here 1 hour, 15 minutes. I'll stop here. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been a pleasure. For those of you who are going to watch this in repeat, like, share, comment, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. My name is Kenya Revolutionary. I would like to personally thank all of you who have watched this. Again, like I say, I'm here every day. I'll come back tomorrow or maybe later in the evening. You never know. Okay, just depend on things. Again, like, subscribe, like. That's the biggest one. Like and subscribe. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you're wondering who I am, subscribe it. Share, comment. Okay. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I would like to thank you, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you. Peace.